The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
If you're building or buying or selling a home, the Real Estate Crew's got news for you at the Real Estate House Party.
With attorney Rick Carter,
Real Estate House Party.
paralegal Kathy Holtshouser,
Real Estate House Party. Come in, have fun.
and comedian Tony V. Now, here's real estate attorney Rick Carter.
Welcome and thanks for joining us here on the Real Estate House Party. Do we wake you? What's up with that? You're out back. You must have the easiest Tuesdays in the world.
It's very nerve-wracking.
It's very hard to be Tony V.
It really
What time
is.
do you get here for the show?
I get, between 11 and 11:15.
Nice.
And then I go in the back and I
Have a couple cigars.
I go over show notes.
Shoot the shit.
Yeah.
You
Smoke
let that
a cigar. Smoking a
Show notes.
Yeah,
Show
show
notes.
notes mean nothing
I know.
to our
you guys think
audience.
it's this, I know.
I get in
I know.
my space, my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try to,
Yeah.
Get
Because I like to come ready
Bring your
so-
A game, right?
Tony, all the time.
I need your help here.
Go ahead, Joe.
We got to explain who this is, Kathy. Why don't you
He
give,
needs
why don't you
no
give the
introduction.
why don't you
It's
give
one,
the
of,
ice
it's
man?
one of my favorite
Why don't you give
loan
the ice man?
officers, John Maroney.
Not only favorite loan officer, but fine human being.
Fine
Yeah.
human being.
One of our favorite human beings.
He's easy on the eyes, so
Yes.
I don't mind him coming on.
I know.
ever.
John, that's how she qualified it. I
He
go,
always
John
has.
Maroney
I
say,
just-
he's
just
easy
stop
on
it.
the
I
eye.
love it.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
stop.
So
And he always has something new and interesting.
Yeah.
No,
How
and
can
he
I-
always
Alright.
comes with a smile
Yeah.
and a nice demeanor.
All right.
so we saw you in Medford performing. You're at the theater there.
At the
Chevrolet.
Yes.
Chevalier.
Oh,
So
Chevrolet,
I
yeah.
brought my wife there. She loved your show, and
I'm glad.
And she was saying,
You were worried.
you go down to Aruba, you're there for a couple weeks, and I said. She's like, what's it like for him? I go, I know he just works like a half hour a day. And she goes, well, what does he do for the other 23 and a half hours? He goes, I'm sure he prepares for the show. So I figured I'd ask, what do you do, Tony, down there?
When I'm in Aruba?
Yeah.
Send pictures.
I'm very busy.
Nothing.
I'm very busy.
Nothing.
I
You
love,
know,
I love the
have
picture of the bingo girls the other day.
Yeah,
That was
I
cool.
fell in with a tough crowd.
Yeah, they were rough.
Playing bingo to all hours of the afternoon.
on the
Pool
edge of the
bingo,
pool.
right?
Yeah,
What do you
yeah.
win? A T-shirt?
Yeah. You could win serious money, $80 a card or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'm buddies with the guy that owns the club, so we have business to attend to. We have to decide where to eat, which
Okay, all right.
takes up a big part of our.
And he
day.
has to decide where to put his, what do you call them? The paloopa or
palapa.
palapa?
Yeah, which palapa we're going to get.
All right.
Yeah.
And then you have to execute on all
Then
that.
you have to. Sometimes you have to walk upwards of 150 yards to get to the beach.
What time do you get up in the morning to get your palapa?
I don't. I go.
Oh, you
Here's
have
what
your
I
own-
do.
you have your own
You
boy
go at
do it?
night.
No. I
Okay.
don't. I'm not one of those idiots. They get up at like 4:30, and I would see them by the pool.
And we know some of those
Like I'd
idiots.
get up in the middle of the night to take a leak, and then I'd look out my window, and people are there at 4:30 getting a pool palapa, and I can't.
Are
What
you
kind
taking-
of a vacation
Are
is
you
that?
taking a leak out of the window? That was kind of-
No, that was on my way.
all right.
Hotel rooms windows don't open because they don't
'Cause
want
for
you to
that very
jump.
reason?
They don't want you to jump
Okay.
or
All right.
pee out of them.
All right.
Sure.
All right.
But so I usually go late in the afternoon to the beach. I'll go to the beach around 2 or 2:30.
When everybody else is
Everyone's
gone.
leaving, and
Oh.
I have my pick-a-palapa.
Right.
My pick-a-palapa. That's a nice
That's
thing.
a nice
That's a
one.
nice little thing.
Pick a palapa.
Yeah. And then I have to concern myself about how long I have to put long pants on
You don't put long pants
for
on
the
it.
show.
Oh, you do?
Oh, in Aruba?
Oh, of course.
What do you mean, of course?
Oh, now
Gotta
it's
have
becoming
pants.
work.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Oh,
Oh, I didn't know you put on
Oh
pants.
yeah,
Yeah. Where have
Oh.
you been?
I
I
have
thought it was always shorts and
I have
sandals.
twice in my life wore shorts on stage. One was in the Marshall Islands.
Kwajalein?
Okay.
In Kwajalein.
Yeah.
We were there, and it was just too hot. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then once I was doing a fundraiser around here, and I forgot I was doing it. And I was out, and they go, "Are you on your way to the show?" And I go, 100%. I'll be there in 22 minutes.
They've called Tony before. You're going to be on the show. We're starting soon. He goes, I'm not sure. And they call him from Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Am
I was
making that
watching.
up?
No.
Yeah.
I was on my couch watching
the
World Series. And the phone rings. I go, hello. They go, you almost here? And I go,
Where's he?
I go, depends on where here is.
That's a great story.
Yeah. And she goes, well, it was in Chicago, Rosemont, actually, which is a great town. It's a little town outside of Chicago. It's like a mob town.
Oh, really?
It was incorporated in 1957.
Okay.
And it's about the size of Medford Square, the entire town. And it has the water rights for Chicago.
No.
So in order for Chicago to get water, it has to go through Rosemont. This guy bought up the land, and it's now an incorporated town since the late 50s. And he's the mayor. His son is son is the fire chief. His cousin is the
sounds like
police
Schitt's
chief.
Creek.
Yeah, it's insane. And I did their annual show one year, and their ad book is like a old telephone book. Just like if you want to do business in Rosemont, you buy an ad. It was just so much fun. And I called them out on it. I go, "This is a mob town." Everyone went, ooh.
It was a joke. I'm a comedian.
Like Eddie Murphy Trading Places. All the guns came out of his head at the same time.
Right.
Ooh. What did he say?
Aruba's great. It's, And then, there's all kinds of things. I got cribbage to play. There are casinos to stay out of.
Yeah.
Which I don't
Cribbage
manage to do all the
play.
time. Yeah, things like that.
Look at Johnny Marron.
So my wife and I, we were one of those 4 a.m. people. Until Until now, we buy our spot before we fly down. Like number 57, we want.
You can get it.
And so now the pressure's off.
Right.
Yeah.
Really?
Here's a little known fact that I think they keep under wraps, but all beaches in Aruba are public.
Right.
So no hotel owns the beach. So you can go to any beach and get a palapa or go in the water or set up anywhere.
Until they ask you your room number for your
Unless someone's
order.
sitting the palapa. Can't, you really reserve your palapas?
Oh, yeah, you can do that.
Well,
Really?
we didn't have a choice last time. They just we knew it was going to get sold out, so it was like $50 a day.
Yeah.
And before, my wife would get up real early, just like Tony said, and put the towel on.
Put
there,
one
kinda-
sandal.
Well, yeah, and they have rules now with the palapas.
Right.
Like you can go from you can't get there before I think 4:30. You have to stay till 7, but then at 7 you can leave and come back at 9.
Way too much work on vacation.
This is why you go at 2:30 in the afternoon and no one bothers you.
I know.
Right.
I know who she had to wrestle with when she was down there at 4:30 in the morning. Mike Clark.
Well, I don't want to start rumors.
No, go ahead.
Right,
But
some people we know had rules changed
Because of them?
because of them. Yes, that's all I'm going to say. Yeah, like property-wide notices went out. You can't do this anymore.
all
Big
throughout
signs,
Aruba.
Right.
I believe that. So, John Maroney, you got to give us the State of the Union address here. You just had your CEO talk to you, your group, and he had some promising words, didn't he?
He did.
I can't wait to hear them.
Go ahead.
Well, he was just looking at the history of the mortgage rates and how everything compares, how everything's coming off a recession, and the bottom line is he feels the end of this year we'll have a mini refi boom. The feds will raise the rates one more time, but the mortgage rates, those folks are pretty much going to ignore the feds at this point.
So the rates won't go up anymore.
Not the mortgage rates. The prime will go up, and then the feds will come around October. They're like, holy crap, we need to lower rates again. We overdid this.
We did too much. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, so either the end of this year, early next year, we'll have a mini refi boom, which means the rates will probably be below 5%.
So people shouldn't panic when the prime goes up because they've
it's already been-
factored that in, right?
Right. So the ones that were on the prime, it affects the home equity line of credit.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
So those, because right now the prime's like 7.75.
Right. So if you have an equity line,
Do you see a lot of people pulling equity lines these days?
Well, up until recently, yes, but now I'm saying.
Well, we're going to talk about that. All right, let's jump into that.
Do a cash out refi, right?
Yeah, it depends on what their first mortgage situation is.
Right.
Like I have one right now, the person's contemplating, but he has no mortgage at all. And
That's a tough one.
so I ran it. Cash out refinance is under 6% right now versus him doing a line of credit close to 8%,
Right.
which is adjustable. And I said, you're better off doing this.
Right.
So what's your suggestion if someone wants to buy a house,
Yeah.
hasn't sold their house yet?
Yeah.
And in the old days, you'd have to have both houses. You'd have to qualify for both mortgage payments, right?
Yeah.
Is that still true, or is
Yeah.
there new programs about that?
Oh, you know something we don't know.
There's a little caveat to that.
Okay, that's all right. That's
So-
what we're here for.
Okay. So if you want to carry both properties,
Yeah.
but you really can't qualify, Fannie Mae will allow you to not debt you for the house you're selling if and only if the person buying it can show a commitment that the loan's clear to close on the house. They're buying your house.
That's a tough one, though.
It is very tough. That's what I mean. That's the caveat.
Because it's a clear to close sometimes doesn't happen to the day before the closing.
I understand. Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
a kind of a
That's-
tough one.
It's kind of a chicken and egg story here.
And you also got to be upfront, like when you accept the offer, to let the people buying it saying, because
Plus
you're
you have
asking them.
timing
Yeah.
issues, right?
Yeah, yep.
Because sometimes people sell their house, but they've already bought another house, and this timing
Yep.
is not. There's no wiggle room.
That's
And
right.
they need one house to close before they can afford the other.
Well, that's what
or,
we're wondering.
Well, then on that, let's say they can qualify for both, but they need their house. What I would suggest is before you put it on the market, get yourself a home equity line
That's
of credit.
that's what I was.
So they used to be bridge loans a long
Yeah,
time
bridge loans
ago.
never work out well.
Right.
Get the home equity line of credit. You have it set up at least enough to put 5% down.
Without a doubt.
Because you need the money to sign the purchase and sale agreement.
Right.
And then worst case, let's say it's only 5% that you have. Not a big deal. You do a 95 loan to value on the house that you're buying.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you're going to be paying some PMI and whatever. But when you sell your place, you can throw
Dump the money in.
and then you call up the lender or the servicer and say, I want to recast the loan. That means you have a much lower balance and you're going to base the payments on the lower payment. PMI goes away
Because
automatically.
you're putting the money from the house you sold
or it could come from any, exactly.
into that. Now, do they automatically recast
No,
that?
no, you got to
Okay.
call them up, tell them.
So
and then-
certain lenders will do it. So you guys sell it on the secondary market.
I haven't seen a lender that won't do it.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, the only time I understand like the VA won't do it if you have a VA financing. But
Right.
other than
So
that,
why don't you explain that, the recasting again?
So that's
Yeah.
a very interesting concept because I don't think a lot of people understand that instead of having to refinance.
Yeah, you don't need to refinance
Because then you don't have to pay all the closing costs again.
right. Or if the you've got a great
So
rate
again,
and then the
you
market.
have
Right.
you have the two houses now because you took out the second house. I mean,
Yep.
with a high mortgage because you haven't sold the first mortgage yet,
Right.
First house yet. So you still have that mortgage as well. So what you're saying is when you pay off or sell that first house,
yep.
you're gonna have a chunk of change.
Yep.
You can put that to the $800,000 mortgage you just used to buy the second one.
Right.
Get it down to $300,000, and you're saying most lenders
Will recast the-
it.
So recast just means now the
They change
payments
the payment.
based on 300,000, and based on that, like let's say it took you 3 months to sell the house, it'll get amortized over 29 years and 9 months.
Okay.
is what we pay because you still have to pay it off in 30 years,
Right.
and then it's based on the lower balance,
So that's a nice little.
and the PMI will go away. So it's a great strategy. Because I tell
But you got to make sure you ask to recast it because if you're putting that $500,000 to that $800,000, I mean that wouldn't change your mortgage payments. at all.
no, unless
Right.
you tell
unless
them.
you tell them.
Unless you can afford that $800,000 mortgage payment, which you can because you just got qualified,
Right.
and you keep paying on that payment, but you just dump $300,000 or $500,000 into it, your loan's going to be paid off that much quicker.
Oh yeah, but some people
It's
might
good
not
for
be
a
in a
lot
rush.
of lenders do that. It used to be only the local lenders would do that.
Right. So what I'm hearing from the Iceman, John Maroney, is that there's so many creative ways to get what you want.
Right. And today the word of the day is recast. Recast. Everybody recast.
I've been recasting
You've been
couple of
recasted.
TV shows and movies, and we're going a different way. And it's not you.
Brotherhood, you're a recast.
Yeah,
right?
I was killed and recast.
Right.
yes.
That was a good term.
And let me just say this: for the first time in about a year and a half, I have no idea what the hell you guys are talking about. I usually follow along, but you lost
right.
me.
I think that
when
you're
you
just
started.
a little tired today,
No,
Tony.
I just-
Usually,
Why are you tired today? What'd you do last night?
Nothing. Well, I had frozen pipes over the.
no.
You know,
We
so
all
I was
did.
cleaning
I
up
know.
over
Who
that.
didn't?
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah.
Not my pipes. My pipes.
Your pipes are
fine.
fine.
You have good pipes.
As far as we know.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. No
For the
mortgage
sake of this.
discharge issues.
No.
Oh my God!
So whose pipes broke? Or
Why?
whatever?
Mine.
At his house.
At my house.
Not
Yeah.
his
Not
personal.
mine.
one.
Oh,
Personal
okay.
pipes. My
All right.
personal pipes are fine.
All right.
So damage to the
Just
woodwork.
water and.
And the plumbers were pretty available yesterday to get them out there, right?
I'm gonna have my plumbers move in. I got a.
Yeah, you do
apartment.
seem to.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have them move in and.
That's a great idea.
Have a live-in plumber.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like them.
I called my
These guys.
128 plumbing, electric, cooling, heating.
Your niece works there.
My niece works there.
Lindsay.
Yeah. She, I shouldn't say
Did
that.
she help you out?
She helped me out,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'cause we
Well,
had a-
not really yet, Lindsay.
You know who had that? Murphy Brown, right? Didn't she have the guy? The whole entire series was
Murphy
the worker around the
Brown,
house.
Yeah.
They all seem to.
Was there something going on with the worker and Murphy
I
Brown?
think so. What show was Schneider in? He was in.
One day at a time.
One day at a
Yeah,
time.
you guys are good.
Yeah.
You guys are
Yeah.
good.
We should have a trivia
I
from
think
the
we should
80s.
do a trivia.
Yeah.
Let's have trivia night there.
Murphy Brown.
If you want to just shut this right down, we can go right to trivia if you guys
No,
want. But, all right.
I actually
This
want to.
was
I feel like he just
All right.
taught our listeners something.
A lot. There
All
was
right,
a lot.
so
there.
we
So
had-
go to John Maroney. Where do you work, John?
I work out of my house.
He actually works at the Falmouth Beach when the weather
Yeah.
is good enough.
He's really reluctant to tell us where he works,
Yeah.
isn't he?
JohnMaroney.com. No, I work at Draper and Kramer Mortgage.
Yeah.
But I do work remote.
Yeah.
You give me an internet signal, and I'm there. I've actually done, when I was down in Aruba, I've done deals while I was on the beach.
Yeah, sure.
Well, we're not
Absolutely.
shocked by any of this,
No,
John.
that's where I do my best work.
John
Right.
comes back
Yeah.
is pretty dark.
Yeah.
And we wonder where he's been. But all right, we have a question from one of
Yeah.
our listeners, from one of our audience.
Where do you stay when you're in Aruba?
We stay at the Hilton,
Yeah.
and it
I
works
love
for
the
us. It's just-
Hilton.
we get to watch the sunset. Last time we were there, it was funny. There was a wedding, and there was little kids that were in the wedding, and then they found their way to the edge of the ocean with their backs turned to us, and I'm like to my wife, they're not really. The kid, he had his pants down, and
Yeah.
he did what he needed to do. Yeah.
So when you tell a kid to go pee in the water, you got to make sure you tell them to go into
Into the water.
Yeah, no, they just did it at the edge.
Yeah,
and
they'll
it-
just stay there.
You know,
I think it should be that way.
It was funny. I took a couple pictures of it. Next day, I saw the wedding party, and I showed it to them. They're like, "Oh, little Jimmy! Of course it was him."
That's funny.
So you might not want to market that or advertise that too much. Johnny taking pictures of the kids.
Of little
going-
kids, right?
The water will be warm.
They just happened to be. I was looking at the sunset, and there he was. It showed up.
All right, here's a question for you. What does someone do if they don't have credit?
If they don't have credit, you can get credit.
What if we know someone from Australia
Okay.
That just moved here 3 years ago.
who is like a ghost?
And hasn't built up
Who
credit?
would that be?
would that be?
She's never got called for jury duty because they don't know she exists.
Right,
Yeah.
she doesn't
I mean, I
exist.
have a social security. They know I exist.
You do have a
Just
social
for the
security
record,
number.
anyone listening, I exist.
But when she tries to get so I always thought if you even paid like a light bill or water bill, that would start establishing some
Yeah,
credit.
Fannie Mae recognizes that.
Right,
We
that's
now
what I thought.
recognize.
So how would you advise Chrissy? Because when she tries to go on to see what her credit score is,
Yeah.
they always says there's something wrong.
yeah,
There's
I
some-
always get like, there was a problem. There was a problem. And I'm like, it only asks for so much information, and all the
And
information I,
get
put in
it,
is
and
correct.
you have it, right.
Yeah, and I put it in, it's all correct. And
You
then
know what you
there
can
was a
do?
problem. I'm like, what is the problem? The only thing I can assume is it can't find me on
Right.
said database, and I don't understand why.
Yeah.
So if
Because you
have
have bills and you pay
Yeah.
She
stuff
pays
and-
rent.
Apartment's
Yeah.
in my name, my bills are all in my name,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what the
So
heck?
John, you said one solution, or you two maybe both came up with get like a Capital One.
Yeah, so
credit card.
there's two things. You have credit, but you don't have what we call traditional credit.
Right.
So traditional credit, to get that, you can go on, Capital One is easy, or there's another site called Credit Cards with an S, creditcards.com, and you just say, okay, I have no credit, I have terrible credit, and then they'll give you a credit card accordingly. I mean, you could get something where it's just a $300 limit,
Yeah.
and in the worst cases, maybe just get a secure credit card where you put up a couple $100 and just use it monthly. You buy gasoline, pay it off every month,
Right.
so on and so forth.
And that will build credit?
Yes.
Absolutely. It will,
How long
it will
will
help
it
with your.
take?
It'll start showing up in 6 months.
Oh.
6 months, you'll be able to get a FICO score.
So that's
you
what
can
she's
go FICO
missing.
yourself.
You sure can. In 6
Yeah.
months, you'll be able to go FICO.
Chrissy, in
Yeah.
6 months, you can go FICO yourself.
Ha, I FICO myself all the time. It won't count. It won't count for another 6 months. I can't.
She is a witty Australian. Witty.
Sorry if anyone's kids were listening about mortgage lending.
So that's so that's actually a good point. Someone should call you. I mean, in a situation like Chris, she should call you like a year before she starts buying to start going through some of this stuff, right?
Yeah, just to see where they're at. And then,
Right.
again, if someone doesn't have credit, we can still get around that, just showing that they made rents on time, their utility bills, and
Right,
kind of
right.
establish it that way.
Would that change the interest rate, though?
That's a
Oh,
good
we're
question.
stumping Johnny
You
a lot
asked, no, because
today.
I haven't had one. That's a great, you know what?
Write it
Hold
down.
on.
I would imagine that it would be like
Interest rate, yeah, I'll
Don't
check
you
that out.
remember like A
I'll find it.
paper, B paper?
Yes, I do, yeah,
I would
yeah.
call that a B paper loan from the old times. Do they still
Yeah.
call them A and Bs?
No,
Right.
no. But
I'm
that's a
updating
great.
myself.
They have a
That's right.
different system.
Yeah, I haven't had that, so I'll find, because typically the FICO score is a main
Although
driver.
she shouldn't be penalized for that. She makes all her payments on time, and it's
No, I
not her
understand
fault
that.
it doesn't show up.
Yeah, I know.
anywhere.
It probably comes down to credit risk and how they rate that.
Right,
In terms
right,
of-
right.
But she's also a 1099 employee, which will
You gotta
muck
show-
things up a little
Well,
bit
yeah, just
more.
show 2-year history
Yeah.
of that. Yeah, 2-year history of
It's
that.
it'll be a tough loan, but you know what? I'm guessing John can do
We'll
something
talk.
for you.
We'll talk. I'm sure if they just looked at my proof of paying rent at the moment, they'd be like, "Wow, she could afford 2 mortgages at
Yeah,
once." Like,
yeah.
Jesus, the way.
Well,
that we
just
pay rent
remember,
at the
with
moment.
me, it's never no. It's just not yet.
We've learned this from the
still not-
No,
ISBN.
he
still
finds
not
a way around it.
No, he definitely does. So
And no is just an acronym for not over.
yeah.
I like it. I like it. We'll talk more. We'll talk.
You
more.
might have to sit through a crab story or two.
No, we have already
We've
said
shut him off.
no
yes.
crab story.
Yeah.
I've sat through worse things for money.
Yeah.
It's
No,
fine.
I'm
I
not
don't
sure.
know about that.
You know what?
Not
Don't-
those
don't-
kind of crabs.
You know what's funny about when I was reading that crab story? It was the first time I actually read it out
Yeah.
loud, and as I was going through it, I'm thinking to myself, I don't remember this being this long. How do I get out of this?
And we were like, is it ending? Is it ending? Is it ending?
Well, I was curious to see what happened to the crab there. So you held me in.
Like if I was a professional, I'd have a better escape out of that
Yeah.
moment.
Right. You would have known the end result and you could have made it up.
Yeah.
Listen, that happens to me all the time. Sometimes you're in front of a crowd and you start a bit, and you know it's not going anywhere. And you're in the middle of it, and you go, "I got to get to the end of this, but it's gonna feel like forever."
So you know what your best out is, Tony? Because this is my favorite, is
Yeah.
when you just start laughing at yourself.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
I did
best.
the other night. I don't know if I told last week, but I was at the Kowloon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
All
Did I
dressed
tell
up.
you? Yeah.
No, you didn't tell us this.
And there was a couple, and they were not a young couple, and they were right down front.
Yeah.
And they had no interest in the show whatsoever. The show was
yeah.
going great, but it looked like it might have been a computer date or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
And they were all moony eyes, and they were drunk, and they were making out.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
I'm talking like 50.
Kissing? Really
like-
kissing?
Like making out.
Oh.
Like the guy was really working it. And
Wow.
then the woman would get up and disappear for 10 minutes, and then she'd wander
She
back.
has to go fix her makeup.
Right. And I was in the middle of a bit, and they started making out again, and I started chuckling on stage, and somebody said, "What's so funny?" I go, every once in a while, I don't need you people. I go, if you want to know what I was thinking, I'll talk to you after the show. And they go, no, tell us now. And I go, okay. I go, see these two?
Oh, my
And
God.
I go, see these two? They have no idea I'm talking about it. That's how disinterested they were. I go, I don't know why they just don't go have sex. They don't want to be here. They want to be having sex. Go have sex. Life's too short.
How was the crowd? Were
And they howl. I mean,
hooting and hollering?
Yeah, of course. And the couple still had no idea
Oh, wow.
that I was talking about them.
That's terrible.
You could have talked about them for the whole show.
The whole rest of the show I
Yeah,
could have
yeah,
done
yeah.
on them, and they
Yeah.
wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
But stuff like that happens.
Something like Lenny did that to me once. I was like 1985. I'll
Yeah.
never
What?
forget it. I swear to God. I was with a date where I was at Stitches, and I know
Stitches.
Lenny always
Yeah.
does this thing, like if a couple's not paying attention to him and they're talking, he just stops talking,
Yeah.
and he looks at them. So I was sitting here, she was here, and the stage is there, and we were talking. All of a sudden, the place was silent. I'm thinking, oh, shit, Lenny's... I know he's doing... And I just turn, and he's looking at me, smiling. He's like, first date, huh? I'm like, yeah. He's like, Go ahead, kiss her.
Oh my God! I can see him do that.
Yeah, I don't know why people pick comedy shows to do that stuff. Thinking we're not going to mention it.
Yeah.
No, because actually, comedy shows are a good place to go when you don't want to talk to the person you're with,
right.
right?
Pay
Like going to the
attention
movies.
something else,
Right. Yeah, you just stare at the comedians, and you, every once in a while you look over and laugh.
yeah.
But
So, Johnny, let's do the math on that. Was that 38 years ago? And you still remember vividly, huh?
Certain things scar you.
Yeah. Lenny Clark
Lenny
will
can
do
scar
that.
you.
Lenny
Yeah,
Clark
yeah.
will do that to you. I'm a good friend of his, and he scarred me.
every day.
Ryan Carter's first comedy show was to see Lenny Clark.
Where was it?
Well, right at Giggles. They're right on Route 1,
South-
southbound.
Southbound,
Yeah.
not to be confused with northbound.
Actually,
No.
while we're talking, what shows do you have come out? We always
I
seem
don't
to.
know. I'm going to
Okay.
Florida this week.
I don't know.
I have one-nighters in Tampa, Fort Lauderdale, and
All right,
somewhere
so if
else.
you want to see Tony, you got to
I'll
go
be
to Tampa.
Down there
Wow, he's
somewhere.
crossing the state.
Yeah.
Tampa to Fort Lauderdale.
Well,
Let's
yeah.
cross.
He
I'm
is.
flying into Tampa. We're leaving out of Fort Lauderdale, so I assume we'll get the one-nighters. And then I was just at the China Blossom last weekend. That was really good. And then past that, I don't know. I don't know what's coming.
I hear Tampa's the #1 city in Florida now.
Really?
Yep, that's what they say.
Sure.
It's the most,
Really?
most vibrant. Yeah, everything they have it going on.
Wow.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, yep.
That's my favorite old joke. Never said anything about Florida. Just said I was going to Tampa with it.
There you go.
Got it.
Tony always says, this is a very old joke that I've never heard before. He always
Right.
seems to come up with that.
They're so old that they
Yeah,
don't.
we know what
Right,
we're
yeah,
laughing
yeah.
at the other day is, hi, Mr. Tony V. We haven't seen your mortgage payment this month.
Yeah.
No,
Your
we haven't seen your last mortgage payment.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
yes, you have. And we say the joke and we just go hysterical laughing.
Yeah.
That might be my favorite.
That's a good one.
Yeah, my new favorite is I've never balanced a checkbook in my life.
Yeah.
And people always say to me, they go, well, how do you know when you run out of money? I go, oh, they'll tell you. Someone's going to mention it to you.
I'll find
So
out.
you're safe, huh?
Yeah, it happened last month, too. We got to get to the bottom of this.
So, Johnny, we have a few minutes. I know we got to talk divorces, too. You got some strategies on.
Oh, no.
I know.
You
No.
getting divorced?
No.
No,
Oh.
no.
Oh, God.
I like.
Not
I
that
like
he
this-
knows of.
No, I like this one.
Yeah.
Well, anyone who can arrange 3 months in advance for a palapa is a keeper.
That's your criteria, huh? And what you're
You
looking at.
might, have to get her to help you out next time.
No, so we are running a lot of sellers. They're getting divorced, but one thing is people have to realize they might have to get pre-qualified for their new homes, because they're sitting in a house right now at maybe 2.5%.
Right.
They're getting divorced. They're getting a new house. Now it's at 6%. I mean, do sellers ever worry about that when they're in a divorce situation, or?
Well, I kind of equate it like this: if you have a tooth that's killing like crazy,
Yeah.
and you go to the dentist, you're not going to ask them how much it costs. You're just going to say fix it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of like, so you're in a divorce, you're in a situation like that, and you just want to just be happy and just get out of your situation. I mean, divorce is tough, so everybody's situation is different, and some situations it's like I got to get out of the situation at all costs.
Yeah, yeah.
So those folks are not even thinking about finance.
How about if they have a principal residence in a family home?
So I had a situation like that where the
Vacation home, I'm sorry, yeah.
yeah, they were going to immediately. They had a house in Plymouth, and they were just going to just sell it, and they were going to make the profit. They're going to pay all this capital gains. And I said to the husband, I said, listen, you work in Boston, live there for 2 years, make it your primary residence. Then when you sell it, you're going to eliminate all this capital gains. Because if you're there for 2 years as a principal residence, you get, if he's there by himself, so you have $250,000 of profit that you don't have to pay any.
So don't
capital.
get divorced right away. Just go move into this house.
You
You
can
can
get
get
divorced.
divorced.
You can get divorced. You're allowed
But
to get
don't
divorced.
sell the house.
Correct. That's
Right.
right. Yes. Yeah. You need to know that stuff up front.
Right.
Because when you go see a divorce attorney, their thing is to just how to put it together,
Okay, you guys divorced.
get you divorced, and and
Get
have
paid.
have the judge agree on it. Yep. Everybody's good with it. Good. All right. Divorced. Can't
Right.
marry for another 3 months, and then you're good, or something like that. So other situations I had where the person was worried about getting. He wanted to buy a house, but he was on the mortgage. They had such a low rate, they didn't want to give that up. But he wanted to buy something. I said, it's all right. As long as, once you just put in the divorce decree, spell out the exact mortgage that the wife's responsible for paying it. Once that's executed, you'll still be on your credit report, but in my world, I will not have to debt you for that mortgage.
Right.
And then
Immediately, or do you have to?
No, you don't have to wait at all because
Okay.
it's spelt out.
Okay.
And then you guys can agree that, if the rates drop to a certain level, then you refinance off the mortgage. If they didn't put that there, you'd have to wait 12 months of the wife making mortgage
Making the
payment
payments.
out of her account only. Sometimes people make the mistake. They might have like a joint account.
Yeah.
And that doesn't count. The husband would have to be off the account for 12 months.
Like everything else, divorce is for the rich.
Yeah.
The rest of us, we just stay miserable. It's too complicated. I have to go through all this. I go,
Might as well keep her.
we'll just keep it. Yeah.
Well,
So,
all right.
So related to that, I know. What? I know
You
you're
see
in
the
a rush.
time?
All
well,
right,
hold on.
well-
Related to that, I'll tell you a quick tip.
Okay.
So about the 12-month payment. Let's say parents co-sign.
That's so weird. That's what I was going to ask you.
Oh.
Do you guys
then-
talk before the class?
Then,
Before
all
the
right,
show?
then ask me and I'll answer.
Kath, if you came to the meeting,
Yeah.
I don't smoke
you would know
cigars.
this.
I just show up where I'm supposed to.
So what's the?
So,
we'll
here it
leave
is.
this one. The
So it's-
strategy is when
so whether it-
you're co-signing for your kids.
Either car loan or student loan.
Yep.
Open up a checking, have the kid open up a checking account with the child's name only on the account, not you.
Yeah.
Okay. And also make sure that the child's on the loan with you, so you're co-signing, not taking out a loan, earmarking it for the kid. So as long as your child's on the
On the loan.
on the loan,
Oh yeah.
Do they have to be 18?
some places.
Well, I think they would have.
Yeah, some places. I don't know. I mean, it must have changed, but
Probably not if your parents co-signing, like
Right.
you're 16 and you're buying a car.
yeah, I
You
mean,
know, so no,
yeah.
probably not.
Yeah. All right.
So 12 months payments out of the child's account, so you can just funnel the money there.
Yeah.
And after 12 months, the parents, will, in terms of getting a mortgage, I won't have to debt them for the parents for the student loan or the auto loan.
Right.
Because it's coming out of the kid's account.
Yes.
Right.
Yep. Because
And it doesn't matter what funds that account.
No.
It's a good question.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. So just
So the
That's a
parents
loophole.
can throw the money in there.
Right.
That's it. I
yeah.
had a good question. I'm done.
yeah.
We're all done,
We're done,
Tony.
man. We're done. So you're going to be in Florida. What you got any
We're going to
shows around here
Florida.
in case people don't want to travel to, to
I don't
Florida?
know why you wouldn't want to go to the Golden State.
No, you're right. You're right. You're
Beautiful,
right.
sunny
You got
state.
any giggles coming up?
I do have a giggles
When
at
is
the
that?
end of this month, I believe.
Okay.
He'll
End of
have to
February.
check his calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Call Giggles.
Yeah.
They'll tell you.
Google it.
Yeah.
Google
Well, they'll have you
Giggles.
penciled
Google
in.
Giggles.
Yeah, Google
Yeah.
giggles.
Yeah.
They'll have you penciled in. It's just whether
I
you
got-
really are showing
yeah.
up there.
I know I got. You never know with me.
You never
Never
know.
know.
You know.
Never know.
Kathy, and you on the road?
I'm probably going to disappear for a while.
Okay. Okay.
Don't call me.
All right.
I'll call you.
All right. All right. That's.
And John Maroney, where can people get a hold of you?
They can Google me, John Maroney, JOHN, Just Google me. I will show up.
Yep, top of the Google list.
Just say his name 3 times.
Beetlejuice.
Thanks for joining us here on the Real Estate House Party. Tony V, Kathy Holtshouser. Happy birthday, Kathy Holtshouser.
Check us
Happy
out on
birthday.
Facebook, guys.
And the
All right.
Iceman. You're always great to have on. Thanks
All right.
again.
Thanks, John.
Thanks,
Got it.
Johnny.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for showing up, Tony.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.